Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 1964 cult classic film Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So, this is a very interesting film to watch. We are 58 years later since it came out. It has been very prevalent now when it comes to plot point because it is a terrible, terrible special to watch. It is so pro bullying and like pro conformity. It's scary. It's scary to watch now because culturally we're also conscious to embrace your differences, celebrate what makes you different, say no to bullying. No is a full sentence. Don't be rude. So this Santa Claus is just so mean. He's so mean. Donner is mean to his son Rudolph. All of these different things, right? But it's a classic, and you have to love a classic. So the production company that made this also did Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and they did a few other Christmas TV specials at that time. It's stop motion, it's claymation. So this song that we all know, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, this is his story. So he's the son of Donner, and Santa just goes, Donner, you should be ashamed of yourself because Rudolph has a red nose. He's just such a terrible, terrible Santa Claus. So mean, so rude. Santa would never, never. So we all love this special because it reminds us of our youth. Each generation has fond memories of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's very well made for the time that it was, about 60 years ago. It has not withstood the test of time when it comes to story, when it comes to dialogue, when it comes to, well, the moral of the story is to run away from your conservative household and be free, but then eventually realize that you need to come home and make amends. No, if someone is toxic, you snip them out. Doesn't matter who they are. It's conflicting, bro. It's very conflicting. It's still classic. What I find the most interesting watching this now as a 32-year-old is that the movie Elf, the 2003 cult classic film Elf, played by Will Ferrell, takes heavily from Rudolph. All of the elf costumes from Elf are super heavily influenced from the elf costumes in Rudolph, which I find very interesting. And I kind of knew it, but I didn't really remember it. And when I watched this again, I was like, ho, 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 ho. That's Jody's character. That's Buddy's costume. And it's neat. It's neat seeing that in human form versus like tiny claymation, 6 to 12 inches tall, however big those elves actually were. I want to say they were more like 8 inches, roughly, give or take. What else? Fond memories. I have, my brother and I would always have our Christmas pictures taken at a photo studio at our local Sears, which doesn't exist anymore because the mall closed down near us. That's where it was. And they had this kiddie area, and they would always play Rudolph. Every year in the 90s, they would play Rudolph. You'd take your picture, you'd watch Rudolph until your parents finished paying for whatever package it was, and you don't know what your parents are doing. You just know they got to talk to the photographer about actually getting the pictures. You don't know what details curtail. Ooh, details curtail. I like it. So my brother and I just cozying up on these kiddie chairs, watching the kiddie TV, and it was a tube TV. It wasn't a flat screen like we got nowadays, right? It was a boob tube, as we called it. I'm old. I'm seasoned. So it brings your happy memories back, even though 58 years later, it is not a conducive story to development. No. Wonderful Pearl Ive songs, classic Christmas songs. I get it. But that's why we keep making new classics to show proper etiquette and inclusivity and celebration of all. Things of that nature, right? So, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Interesting TV special that it is. We're going to rewatch some of the older TV specials. We're going to try to pick up on certain things that were said then that could not be said now or done now. That's why I hate watching the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special now compared to when I was a kid, because they put Franklin on his own side of the table. And it's just awful. And I hate Thanksgiving in general. It's a celebration of genocide, but it's just very hard to watch it and celebrate the special because it's a classic. It's like, no, that's straight up racism. That's not cool. So, we're at a weird time where we want to feel nostalgic, but we know we can't feel nostalgic. So it's weird. I don't know, man. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the 1964 cult classic film? On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.